So for problem 3, we've got $12,000 invested for X years at 10.5% compounded continuously. The future value of this investment is given by that equation. We're asked to graph the function in GeoGebra, describe its behavior for the first 20 years, describe its behavior for 20 to 40 years, and so the next 20 years. And then answer, is the growth for each time period fairly similar or different? And why is this happening? And how can we use this to make ourselves wealthy as well as future generations? So as you can probably guess, we've talked about this multiple times, that the growth is not going to be anywhere near the same for the first 20 years that it is for the second 20 years. It's going to explode and be growing extremely quick at some point here. So let's take a look at this graph and just get sort of a sense of what's going on here. So we're talking about the first 20 years. And so we start here with $12,000. And after 20 years, I've got to pull my grid down so I can see what happens at 20 years. That's quite a lot of money. So this $12,000 in 20 years turns into almost $100,000. And so that's pretty awesome. That is really, really fantastic growth. So from 0 to 10 years, the $12,000 grows to almost $100,000. So we do have pretty significant growth there. We're gaining somewhere in the neighborhood of probably about $90,000 from in the first 10 years there, which is pretty awesome. So remember that number 90,000 is what we gained in the first 10 years. And let's take a look at what's going to happen here for the second 10 years. So the years 10 to 20. So I'll pull this axis out a little bit more. We can still see 10 to 20 there. 20, or so no, from 0 to 20. And then 20 to 40 is what I'm supposed to do here, everyone. Sorry about that. I wrote 10 in there. That needs to be a 20. So over the first 20 years, the 12,000 grows to about 100,000. So that's pretty good still. Even though I was talking about it earlier as only being 10 years, that's still pretty significant growth. So then from 20 years to 40 years, let's take a look. And so you can see the gigantic gap here between 20 years down here and 40 years up here. That's insane. This investment grows from about $100,000 in 20 years to about $800,000 in the next 20 years. So from 20 to 40 years, the $12,000 grows from the 100,000 that it was at 20 years to, it looks like right about 800,000. Wow. So the scene here, everyone, is that we gained like $700,000 in the second 20 years. We gained nearly $100,000 in the first 20 years, but you can see again that as this fund gets older, it starts to grow much faster. And so again, time is fertilizer for money. If you want your money to grow, you need to feed it large amounts of time. So for part C, these are very different. As the investment gets older, it grows faster. And how can we use this information to build wealth for ourselves and for future generations? We would make the decision to invest some money and walk away for a long time. to let it grow. Okay, that's it for number 3. Super fun.